Hey there. Welcome to the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. If you only knew what was going on behind the scenes, it's crazy. Anyways, okay. So anyway, welcome in. Glad that you're here. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping we'll take care of first. As you know, this program is available wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, just search the Ben Maynard program. There it is. Boom. All right, you're good. It's on all the streaming platforms. So, oh, yes. And if you can't resist some of this right here and you're watching on YouTube, then I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. A couple of things that I ask. First, you have to subscribe to the channel. Okay, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way, you'll get notified anytime a new episode is posted. All right. Next, you got to give me a thumbs up. Thumbs ups, the likes are incredibly important. So you got to do that for me. All right. I'm not trying to make money on anything. I'll probably never make a dime, and that's okay. All I want is for people to watch this show. Okay. Last but not least, comment. Okay. Actually, it isn't last but not least, but you got to comment. All right. Leave a comment. Love your comments. I reply to all of them. Okay. And then follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program, all one word. So with that, plenty of ways to take in this show for your dancing and listening pleasure. And with that, here we go. I'm taking a deep sigh because, as I said, you have no idea what was going on. One of these days, I've told all you people, one of these days, I'll get into editing this show, and I'm gonna put together. I probably have enough crap here to make you all go, "You're such an idiot. You're a jerk. You're an a-hole," whatever it is, or "Boy, you're a dope." I've got so much stuff. I could just kind of piece all kind of things together and do a whole show on all that crap. So, anyway, all right, let's get into this. Little something. I like to celebrate anniversaries, and this week there was a big anniversary for an album, an iconic album, by the way, from one of the biggest bands in the world, all-time biggest bands in the world. And that one's right here. The 50th anniversary of this album right here. I know it's a little far away, but it's Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, right there. Okay. So the album was released 50 years ago this week on April the 8th in 1975. This one is considered by many people to be their best album, especially of the 6 albums that were released in the 70s. So what I'm going to do, we'll do a tail of the tape here and go over some notes on the album and just really kind of celebrate this thing. All right. So let's do it. So the album contains 9 tracks. The running time is 37 minutes and 8 seconds. This particular album contains 2 of the band's biggest and probably or maybe their most iconic songs in the catalog. And those songs would be Walk This Way and Sweet Emotion. At the time that this album was being recorded, the band was hitting on all cylinders. Probably, I would say primarily because Brad Whitford and Joe Perry had now come into their own and they were becoming real guitar players. A lot of that had to do with the heavy touring that the band had been doing for the previous album, Get Your Wings. So the track listing is as follows. And you know I love the vinyl, so we're gonna talk to you just like it's vinyl. Starting with side one, the title track, "Toys in the Attic." Then followed up by Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple, Walk This Way, big 10-inch record. Such a cool song. Okay, I have to stop down and talk about that song. Such a cool song. It's a cover of an old blues song, and in the 70s, big 10-inch. Yeah, come on, when you're like 13 years old and you're taking this album in. So maybe I'll get into that a little bit later. But what just such a cool song. Such a cool song. So we flip it over, we go to side two, start off with Sweet Emotion, then No More, No More, Round and Round, and then the album closes out with You See Me Crying. The album peaks at number 11. That was its peak position on the Billboard Top 200 album chart. And as of the last RAA certification, I think that was 4 or 5 years ago. The album had sold over 9 million copies. 9 million copies. That's tremendous. I mean, from between the last time it was certified and now, and maybe a diamond album, which for those of you who may not know is a 10 million seller. Walk This Way peaked at number 10 on the top 40, and the next single, or I believe, I can't remember what order the singles were released in, but nonetheless, the other single on the album was Sweet Emotion, and that one topped at number 36. The reactions and the reviews, they were very, very positive all the way around. Most of the music publications were ranking at 4 and 5 stars. The only hit that it was taking was in production, and we'll get into that in a little bit as well. It was the production, to me, even as a kid, could have been a little bit better, but nonetheless, my initial reaction to this album was, okay, so as you guys know, I'm a huge Kiss fan. They were kind of like, Kiss was kind of like my first, like favorite band. That was it. I did have other music leading into that. But Kiss was like it for me from about 11 or 12 years old. And Kiss was the only thing. Posters all over the walls, all the albums, all that kind of stuff. Nonstop Kiss, 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 Kiss. And at that time, this is funny. At that time, I was a member of probably, and no. I'm going to take probably out of that statement because it makes me sound wishy-washy. I'm going to state it right here. I was a member of the first ever Kiss tribute band at 12 years old. It was called Kiss Junior. What a laugh. Yes. And I was going to portray Gene Simmons. Well, I could get, like I said, 12 years old, right? Anyway, I remember one of my buddies, he had lived across the street, and we kind of had a disagreement and a falling out. So Kiss Jr. was in No More. Well, him and we didn't talk for a little bit. I was mad. And so I wasn't going to talk to him anymore. Oh, let me hit something here really quick. Sorry about that, people. I want everyone to know what's going on. There we go. So, so we're not talking. And the kid's name is William. William comes across the street one time, talking to my younger brother. Like I said, we're all into Kiss. And he brings this album with him across the street to the house. And it's a band called Aerosmith. And the album was Get Your Wings. That was my first exposure to Aerosmith. Now, you got to remember that, this is the 70s. I'm 12 years old. And I felt that at that time that every other band was like a threat to my Kiss fandom. So it was difficult to let other bands in. Although I'll go back, because before I became a Kiss fan, I was a huge fan of Uriah Heep. Well, Uriah Heep, for some reason, was not a threat to my Kiss fandom. Bizarre, but this is how the mind of a 12-year-old works. So any other band now at this point was going to be a threat. And William comes over with this album and puts it on. Start listening to it. I think my brother, my younger brother Chuck, was there too. Of course he was. And we're listening to Aerosmith. And the one song that stuck out on Get Your Wings was Lord of the Thighs. I mean, that song just really just resonated with me. So that was my first exposure to Aerosmith. And that was, Get Your Wings. That was their second album, released in like 1974. And now we're talking, this is like 1977, probably late 76, early 77 when this is going on. And so Toys in the Attic had already been released. I wasn't even aware of it. But I started to really kind of take a liking to Aerosmith. So when you go from Kiss, the next band I let in was Aerosmith. Really weird. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody out there that kind of has that same experience as a child. But I do remember that going into it afterwards, going from Get Your Wings, I think the next album I got was Rocks. And actually, I believe it was my brother who picked up Rocks. And we got all into Rocks. So much so that when I picked up Toys in the Attic, when I bought that one, I thought that was the next release after Rocks. Like I said, 12 years old. Okay. I don't know. Go figure, right? But put on Toys in the Attic and just great stuff. My personal feelings on Toys in the Attic, it's probably my favorite album in the catalog. It's that good. I just think it's, I mean, it's just, it's almost flawless, really, when you think about it. Just great songs through and through. Even though there was only two singles released off the album, so many album tracks are deep cuts, and they're just so good. Going back to the track listing, my favorite song. Well, I mean, so many. I'm not even going to go into it because I got something I'm saving for a little bit later. But my reaction to was great album, great songs. Toys in the Attic, tremendous. Sweet Emotion, great. Walk This Way, everybody dug that one. But I mean, I was digging stuff like Uncle Salty and Adam's Apple, No More, No More. Just top to bottom, just solid. But speaking, I talked about production earlier. Even as a 12-year-old, not knowing a thing about, music, production, all that stuff, it sounded, I felt like the production was, I guess in the 12-year-old kid's mind, it sounded like it was muffled. And I'll equate it to, here we go, relating to Kiss again. All roads lead to Kiss, right? So it it sounded kind of like in the production wise, I equated it to Hotter Than Hell, which I've spoken about previously, that it was just kind of, you felt like you're like trudging or walking through mud. And I kind of felt the same in hearing this. But it certainly didn't take away from how much I liked and enjoyed the album. Just really, really good stuff. So, like I said, it's probably my favorite Aerosmith album in the catalog. Um, 11 years after its release in 1986, bam, Run DMC collaborates with Joe Perry, Steven Tyler on a Walk This Way cover. I think everybody knows that one. They I mean, that cover version and video turned Aerosmith's career around, resurrected their career. The song from Run DMC, that cover version goes to #4 on the Billboard chart. The video is all over MTV for all of 1986 into 1987. Big stuff, big time. And as I said, it resurrects Aerosmith's career. They had been they'd really fallen off after their 1979 release of Night in the Ruts. That's kind of when the band didn't split up, but Brad Whitford and Joe Perry had left the band. They had 2 releases after that, with Rockin' a Hard Place and Done with Mirrors. And then, Rockin' a Hard Place, I should say. Done with Mirrors came after Joe Perry and Brad Whitford had come back into the band, but their careers were still kind of in the toilet. They're, the guys in the band, they're all drugged out. They're just whacked out of their minds, all this kind of stuff. So they were not in a good place. And then this happens to them with Run DMC, and it just changes their trajectory. It just, so it's just, what are you going to do? The band itself, okay. So the band itself basically kind of had 2 different eras, almost 2 different careers, because they were huge in the 70s, huge. And then the resurrection in the mid to late 80s, their next release is Permanent Vacation, and things start taking off, Dude Looks Like a Lady and all that kind of stuff. But they were reaching a whole different audience at that time now too. Younger people were coming on board, and their career in the late 80s, early 90s, even really into the mid to late 90s, just totally new audience. For me, being an Aerosmith fan, I do appreciate that late 80s, early 90s stuff. There's a little bit more of a pop sound to it. There's still some really good hard, heavy stuff, but overall, it's kind of a different sound. Of course, it's Aerosmith, but it's a little bit different sounding than from the stuff in the 70s. So, Toys in the Attic, turning 50. There it is right there. There's the cover again. I know. I wish I had the album. I know. I'm sorry. You know the story with the vinyl. I'm not going to get into it. But so you're going to have to lean in like I have to lean in from time to time to see it. But if you're listening, don't worry about it. It's all good. I thought that in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Toys in the Attic, we could have some fun here. And I put together my own top 20 Aerosmith songs from the 70s. Okay. So why don't we do that? Now, I know as I go through this, I'm going to take some big time crap from you folks at home and in the cars and all that good stuff. Everybody watching and listening, I'm going to take some major heat, and that's okay if I do. You can just leave it in the comments. Leave your rankings, your top 20s in the comments. You can tell me that I'm nuts and I don't know what I'm talking about as well. But remember, this is my list. So let's look at it this way. if I was to put together a playlist on my, my cell phone or whatever, and then I'm starting it with 20 Aerosmith songs. These are probably the ones I'm starting with. Okay, so yeah, so it's my thing. Okay, no right or wrong, but I think to me these are like the best 20 Aerosmith songs from the 70s. Just great stuff. So I will start it right here. Okay. And I know I'm taking these glasses off. Put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. What's the matter with me? Maybe I should get my eyes fixed or something. It might help out, right? All right. So let's just start right at the top. And I'm going to catch it. I'm going to catch it right here at number 20, but it's on the list. And that is from the debut album, and it's Dream On. One of Aerosmith's biggest songs. It wasn't at the time. It took a long time for this song to kind of ramp up in popularity and that kind of thing. But yeah, Dream On is at number 20. All right. And let's see. Number 19, I'm going to take some more heat. Sweet Emotion. Great song. Obviously from my favorite album in the catalog. I probably put it at this position due to maybe the burnout factor, maybe, I guess. Because it is a great song. I mean, that bass line in the beginning, it's just, Joe Perry on the talk box, and it's just so good. Let me get a sip of water here. It's just really, really good stuff. It's a great song. Probably a lot of people would have it in the number one position on their top 20. But I didn't punish it and leave it off the list due to the burnout factor for me. I did include it. I just put it way down on that list. Okay. So let me see. Number 18. Again, going to catch crap, but it's my list. You put your list in the comments. Okay. You give me your list. Walk This Way. Same album, Toys in the Attic. Great album. Like I said, probably for the same reason as Sweet Emotion, a little burnout on it, but it's a great song. And it's so funny as a, 12-year-old kid or whatever, you're hearing these lyrics for the first time, oh my gosh. now that we're on the air and I'm having a brain cramp on the lyrics, but the lyrics. If you know the song, you know the lyrics. And for a 12-year-old, like, oh my gosh. So you put it on over and over and over again. Number 17. Oh, you know what? Wait, before I get to 17, because there is a song here that's not on my top 20 list that I mentioned it on the Toys in the Attic album. That's Big 10-inch Record. And that is such a great song. It really, really is. And I didn't include it. I suppose if my list was 21 songs, maybe it would be 21. But it's such a cool song. Going back to the 12-year-old mind, big 10-inch, you know where I'm going with it, the male appendage. And but that's what it's not what the song is about, but in, way back when there was a lot of like double entendre when it came to the blues. And the lyrics, like the opening verse in the song, has got me the strangest woman, believe me, this chick's no cinch, but I really get her going when I whip out my big 10-inch record of the band that plays the blues. The band that plays the blues, she just loves my big 10-inch record of her favorite blues. So it's that kind of thing, throughout the song. It's fun, it's catchy. Aerosmith stays really true to the original version. And, like I said, when you're 12 years old, you're like rolling around on the floor giggling, and because it's just so funny, and it's naughty and it's dirty, but just a fun song. Anyway, so I digress. Let's get back to the top 20, okay? So at number 17, from the album of, I think, to me, a very, very underrated Aerosmith album, and it might be my second favorite album in their catalog. And that's Night in the Ruts, and the song is Mia. Mia is, I think it closes out the album. And it's a ballad. It's a great, great ballad. It really is. It's just a really, really good song. And I mean, I think a lot of people, really like "You See Me Crying" off of Toys in the Attic, and that's a great song too. I think this song is better than "You See Me Crying." So, just my opinion. I know you can let me have it if you want. um, Number 16, also off of Night in the Ruts, and that would be Aerosmith's cover of the Shangri-Las, "Remember Walking in the Sand." Some people aren't hip with covers too much. Um, this might have been the first song off of Night in the Ruts that just really grabbed a hold of me. Great lyrics. And when I first heard it, I had no idea this was a cover. No clue at all. I'm not even sure if at that time I knew that bands from time to time would cover other artists' songs. So I just assumed it was an Aerosmith song, all the way. Well, it is to me because it's a great song. And I do like the original version, but yeah, the Aerosmith cover that's the one for me. And it just, like I said, it grabbed me right away. And I dig that song. So at number 15, off of the album Rocks, which a lot of people, a lot of Aerosmith fans, that's number one. That's number one for them. Uh, the opening track, "Back in the Saddle." Great, great, great song. Great song. And I think my favorite version of that song is off of the live bootleg album. It opens Rocks and it opens live bootleg, and it's really good. Steven, even though we're talking to the 70s when these guys were just coked out of their minds and just out of their skulls, uh, and they were known for being off on a lot of nights. That version on live bootleg, man, that is so good. Steven is just giving it to you. All right. So at number 14, also off of the Rocks album, is "Nobody's Fault." Good song. Really good song. And it's off of a great album. Number 13, also from an album that I think is underrated. It kind of got panned a little bit by the rock critics. But I think it's a solid album. I think it's so good. Just great material on it. And this song here, "Kings and Queens." Great song that when especially later on in Aerosmith's career, when they had all the late 80s and 90s hits and they're playing all those and not so much from the back catalog, whenever they would bust into like "Kings and Queens," and it kind of in later years, in the last 15, 20 years, it was in the set a lot more often. But you had all those people just screaming for "Dude Looks Like a Lady," and "Janie's Got a Gun." But when "Kings and Queens" pops up, man, guys like me standing on our chair, pumping our fists, and everybody else is like looking around. What song is this? Great song. Great song. Um, Number 12, going back to the Rocks album with this one, Round and Round. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Rocks album, not the Rocks. Sorry, we're going back to Toys in the Attic, and it's Round and Round. Nice, heavy song, really heavy. It's good, good. Just you got to listen to that, that I guess backbeat on the song. It just brings out some heaviness on it. Really, really, really good song. So at number 11, now we're going to go back to the Rocks album. And such an awesome song. Such an awesome song. Loved it from the beginning. Last Child. I was the last child, just a punk in the streets. So good. Dig that song. And again, I'm going to go back to the live bootleg version. Man, really good. Really, really good. All right, so we're going to crack the top 10 here. Okay, so you with me? At number 10 from the Night in the Ruts album, going back to that, told you, might be my second favorite album in the catalog. Probably is. Chiquita. Not because of the bananas. It's just so good. And like I said, Night in the Ruts is a very underrated album. The band was just coming apart. They were falling apart at the seams with the previous album, Draw the Line. But it was during the recording of Night in the Ruts, that's when the wheels really were coming off. And I think halfway through the recording session, Brad Whitford, Joe Perry, gone, checked out. So they had to, get other musicians to come in and fill in the guitar parts to, complete the album. But again, the album is great. That is such a great song. If you are unfamiliar with the album, you got to go check it out. It is so good. Just so good. And at number 9, I think it's the track that comes right after Chiquita. No, is it? I think so. Cheesecake. And not because I like cheesecake. Just so good. I don't know what to say. You have to check this stuff out. So good. Just And what I'm looking at my list here, and in the number 8 spot, sticking with Night in the Ruts, the lead track, No Surprise. So 3 in a row from Night in the Ruts, because it's that good. It is that good. It's just a tremendous album. So you got to check it out. All right, number 6, in the number 6 position, we are going to go back to my favorite album from Aerosmith, the Toys in the Attic album. And we are going with Adam's Apple. So good. I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Time out. I skipped number 7, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I skipped number 7, went from 8 to 6. It's taking the glasses off and putting them back on and all that kind of thing. So let's go back to number 7. Also from the Toys in the Attic album. So it's not a shock, but it's Uncle Salty. Great song, just a slower song, kind of groovy, kind of a dark song too. Yeah, kind of a dark song, but another one. Like I said, listening to the Toys in the Attic album, these songs just really hooked me right away, and I guess it's I guess it's just why it's my favorite song in the catalog. I mean, my favorite album in the catalog. So Uncle Salty's at number 7, and then of course, no shocker because I already announced it. At number 6 is Adam's Apple, and I just always thought that was such a great song too. Just I mean, I think those two songs are back to back on side one of the album. Really, really, really good. You got to check those out. Then let's go to the number 5 position. We're cracking the top 5. Number 5. That would also be from Toys in the Attic, and that is No More, No More. A great song in the live set as well. Great song. And that's why it's at number 5, because it's great. So good. Number 4 from the Rocks album. Sick as a Dog. So good. So good. And I'm going to go back to the live bootleg album, where that version is dynamite. It's fantastic. Number 3. Can't remember if I mentioned it early on, but if I did, I'm going to repeat myself. Second I heard this song, I was hooked. And the live version is every bit as good, if not better, than the studio version, and that is Lord of the Thighs. I don't think it was the 12-year-old in me, oh, Lord of the Thighs, and thinking like that. I don't know, maybe a little bit because I was 12, right? But it's just such a cool groove. Believe Brad Whitford came up with that riff at the beginning of it. But it's just no, and I'm not gonna do that for 30 seconds, and then it just bam kicks in, and it's so good, just so good. And again, like I said, the live version off of live bootleg kills it. Okay, so my number 2 song. Number two is the title track from Draw the Line. So, Draw the Line. Such a kick-ass song. Just kick-ass. It's heavy. That bass line. The bass line is so good. It's so good. Again, like with Night in the Ruts, Draw the Line kind of gets some heat from folks, but it's good. It is good, and that is a wonderful song, and that's why it's number 2, because it's that good. So, what's number 1? I don't have a snare drum in here to give you a drum roll. I don't have any music to play, nothing like that. It's not going to happen. But hang on, got a tickle right here. All right, let's get rid of that. Number 1 is the title track from my favorite album in the catalog, Toys in the Attic. Enough said. It is so cool. And it starts off the album. So it's the title track, it's the lead track, and my favorite track. All of those. And it's funny. You drop the needle on the album and it just, boom, it just kicks you right in the face, right to start, right at the start. And it's so good. It's fast. It chugs, but it chugs at a fast pace. It's really, really good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that song. It's great. And I mean, I was listening to it like way early this morning, like in the wee hours of the morning, because I was at work, and I was like, man, I just kept saying, this song is so good. It is so good, and it has to be number 1 on the list. I didn't even know, excuse me, I didn't even know I was going to do a top 20. So I started putting this stuff together and going through my notes and everything. And I thought, I'm throwing a top 20 here. But when I listed all the songs that I would consider for a top 20, my pen went straight to Toys in the Attic and put a 1 right next to it before anything else. So that's just, that's it. That is it. And for me, the song doesn't get played a ton on the radio, certainly not on rock radio. So there's no burnout factor at all for me on that one. So I'm loving it. Love it. Love it for all those reasons. Anyway, so look, that's my top 20. If you want, let me run it down really fast. I'm not going to give you all that hullabaloo like I did earlier. Number 20, Dream On. Number 19, Sweet Emotion. Number 18, Walk This Way. Number 17, Mia. Number 16, Remember Walking in the Sand. Number 15, Back in the Saddle. Write this stuff down. Write it down real quick. Number 14, Nobody's Fault. Number 13, Kings and Queens. Number 12, Round and Round, and not the version from Rat. Number 11, Last Child. Number 10, Chiquita. Number 9, Cheesecake. Number 8, No Surprise. Number 7, Uncle Salty. Number 6, Adam's Apple. And the top 5. Number 5, No More, No More. Number 4, Sick as a Dog. Number 3, Lord of the Thighs. Number 2, Draw the Line. And number 1, Toys in the Attic. Great, great stuff. All I want to say to you folks is I appreciate you being here. Thanks for sticking with me. Let's have some fun with this. Give me your list. Leave it in the comments. Let's get it done. All right. As you know, this program is available wherever you get your podcasts. Okay. Wherever you stream your podcast, search the Ben Maynard program. There it is. Boom. You got it. Subscribe to it, though. Subscribe to it, please. No matter what platform it is, subscribe to it, and you'll get notifications every time that a new episode posts. All right. Next, if you're watching this stuff right here on YouTube, okay, thanks. Appreciate it. But you have to subscribe to the channel. Okay. You have to hit the notification bell again so that you get notified. Please, you got to do that stuff for me. All right. You got to give me a thumbs up because thumbs ups are really important. All the likes are really important. Then you have to leave a comment. And you also have to tell 10,000 of your family and friends. You got to tell them about this podcast. You can say, oh, yeah, there's this podcast, Ben Maynard program. He's an old guy, but, he's pretty cool and he's kind of stupid. He's kind of an idiot, but, he's really cool. I'll say this, there aren't enough O's and cool to describe me. So tell 10,000 of your family and friends. And then last but not least, follow me on Instagram. Simply Ben Maynard program, all one word. All right. So we're done. We're out of here. Thanks for being here. I will see you next time. This is the Ben Maynard program. Tell a friend.